Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for December 18th. I'm so glad you're here today. I have a couple of announcements. So it's starting to feel a lot like Christmas, because of the lighting in this house, I can't show you what's going on outside my window, but it is exactly the kind of snowflakes that everybody dreams of for Christmas Eve. Those fat, fluffy flakes that are just falling. So it's beautiful outside. And that connects to my message, to my sort of announcements. So I am going to be taking next week and the week after off. Now, you're going to still see me. I'm going to put out probably 2 political videos next week and probably the week after. And I will put out at least one of the Soulprint Insights videos. So this is interesting. The Insights video is going to be a shamanic fire ceremony, which is going to allow us to release whatever it is that we don't want to, drag into 2021 with us. So that's kind of cool. And because of the astrological things going on December 21st, I want to get it out in that time frame. And the positive energy circle, it is now time to start saging the White House. So we are going to do that energetically. And so if you're interested at all in that, you can look for that video on Sunday like normal. So there we go, like this coming Sunday. So that's where I am at. Listen, I wish you guys a fabulous, fabulous holidays. I've been doing this now for about 2 years straight. And it's just time for me to take a little breather. And so I've chosen to do it around Christmas time, because what better time of the year? And I will be back in January. For any of those who are wondering if I'm still going to be around once Biden's in office and that kind of thing, yeah, I'm absolutely not going anywhere, because I think that there's going to be a lot of stuff that still, we could all benefit from sort of getting Spirit's take on some of the stuff that we're, your country, particularly the United States, but in a lot of ways, all of us are going to be dealing with even under the Biden administration, because it's such a mess, right? So, and I'm still wanting to keep an eye on, certainly Canada for sure, because even though the vaccines are out and about now, it's going to be months before everybody is, who wants to be vaccinated is vaccinated. And so I have every intention of continuing both of my channels into the new year. Okay, so here we go. So here we are. A week from Christmas Day. I want to take a look at, I want to do a bit of a dive on Trump, a deep dive. And this is why. I mean, I know we're all getting kind of tired of the guy, but I feel like these are the times when he is actually at his most dangerous, because he's like a caged animal, right? And he's going to fight back. And, there's a lot going on that's not making him look good, right? I mean, there's that investigation that's being done by Jim Claiborne, I think his name is, they're delving deep into the COVID response, and stuff is coming out there that really makes the administration look stupid. You've got, information coming out about lawsuits and the fact that New York really is ready to sort of pounce. You have his neighbors at Mar-a-Lago kindly asking him to please not come live there. Apparently there are restrictions to him doing so, and they want those restrictions adhered to, because frankly they put up with 4 years of nonsense and they're not interested in another 4. So I just thought, it feels as if more and more is coming at him, and we know he doesn't do well under that sort of energy imprint. So let's take a look at Trump and see. I think maybe we'll just look at him for the next, couple weeks. We'll take him to the end of the year. Okay, so come on down. I have a question. My little team I got in the way here. It says, I still believe. And I absolutely do. Okay. So, Trump, now, end of year. Trump, now, end of year. Trump, now, end of year. I'll just tell you, yesterday they were talking about Mike Pence making this trip around January 6th. He's going to Israel and 2 other countries. And when I saw the announcement, my first sort of reaction was, I don't think so. So we'll see if for some reason that ends up getting canceled. Okay, so sort of not surprising, right? Trump is going to be putting a fair bit of pressure on partnerships. So whether this is a partnership with Putin, whether it's influential friends that he thinks, he has their ear. I mean, literally, the 2 of Cups and the Lovers right off the go. So you're talking about somebody who he's depending on others for his, I guess, safety, his security, his pathway forward. I'll say it that way. Because at this point, he really is thinking that he is still going to go forward. I mean, he's been spending a lot of time sort of strategizing on how to turn this presidency into a marketing deal, right? I mean, that's all he knows. It's what he's about. He's trying desperately to hang on to the, I guess, illusions of power. And he's not going to want to let it go very easily. And I mean, it's ironic, right? Because he only wants it because he feels that will continue to protect him. It has nothing to do with actually wanting to be of service to the people of the United States. This is all about protecting him and his money and his assets. That's why he wants it. And that's why the, fundraising, et cetera, continues on, because he is really trying to feather that nest of his. So that's what's going to be occupying his time and attention. I would go so far to say that even, interesting, look, my card for Kamala Harris showed up. We're going to put that to the side and see if I can get a read on that. I would venture to say that even while he is at Mar-a-Lago over Christmas, there's going to be a lot of fighting, a lot of scraping, squabbling. There's going to be temper tantrums. And, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe if you're a guest at Mar-a-Lago over that time, you may actually witness some of this or hear some of this. The energy around him, right around Christmas, feels almost volatile. Almost, because he's going to go to his treasured little, what is that, winter White House of his. And he's faced, frankly, with the fact that the people around him, his neighbors, do not want him there. And there are restrictions that only limit him to only being in residence for 21 days a year. And it feels very much as if the good people that surround him are pretty determined to have that enforced. I saw something the other day, and I think I have the number right. Apparently, in Trump's last 4 years, he has spent something like 306 days at Mar-a-Lago. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like over the course of time, it's not a number that surprises me. I'll say it that way. So very volatile right around Christmas. He's not going to be able to, So the Queen of Swords, which as you know is Kamala, and the Empress are sitting side by side here. And that is because even though it's Christmas, there's going to be a lot of news coming forward from the Biden-Harris, administration, for lack of a better word. There's still going to be information rolling out, because while they're going to, take that pause to enjoy Christmas, they are very, very much coming from a place where they are barely pausing to catch their breath. There is so much to do and not a lot of time. And so there's going to continue to be news coming out over the next couple of weeks. And that is going to create an implosion, right? The oxygen that he has sucked for 4 years is dissipating now. People don't want to hear him. They don't want to listen to his nonsense. They're done. And you have, from this grouping of people, you have all this good news coming out. There's that sense of normalcy returning. There is that sense of, they're going to be able to handle the rollout of the vaccine. There is a sense that finally, somebody has a dang plan, and they're going to implement their plan to try to get the country back on track. And that is going to send him right around the bend. So again, looks like something's going to be offered to him over the Christmas holidays. I don't know what that is. Is it possible that, people are saying, listen, just stay at Mar-a-Lago, just wipe your hands of it. But whatever it is that's being offered to him, he's not ready to accept that. And in fact, it very much feels like he really is still in fighting mode. So that's going to be really interesting, because I am one of those people who have said that I would not be at all surprised if when Trump goes to Mar-a-Lago, he really doesn't head back to Washington, or he doesn't stay in Washington for very long periods of time. So he's got the tower here, he's got the death card. So this is not good. One cycle of his life is coming to an end, and he very, very much feels that everything is imploding. He very, very much is scared of what's going to happen next, because there's every reason to believe that things are not going to go his way. I mean, he has been hanging out, hiding behind the presidency for 4 years now. Putin is attacking all kinds of computerware, government computerware, big business computerware, and he says nothing. He has nothing to say about that because it's Putin. And, there is really a sense that things are slipping out of his grasp and out of his control. And listen, I would not be at all surprised if Putin is not one of the people that he is, trying to recruit to get some additional help. I saw something really interesting. I don't remember where I saw it now, but it was a sort of a breakdown of all the things that Trump would need if he was going to escape to another country to protect himself. And Russia came very close. It was the second best choice. The first one was the AEU. God, I hope I get that right. Yeah. That apparently would give him the best chance of sort of maintaining this comfortable life going forward. I don't see that he's going to be able to make that escape. I really don't. He's going to try, and he sure as heck is thinking about it. But I don't see that it's actually going to manifest. It feels like there's going to be some gossip that comes out from Mar-a-Lago over the Christmas holidays. I don't know if, there's a lot of talk about him retreating or him not being very visible there. Is it possible that he gets sick and that he's sort of keeping a low profile? Or is it possible that he has become so unhinged and so erratic that the family is sort of trying to contain him in such a way so that he's not out there in public a whole lot, like ranting and raving like a lunatic? And it's a very fine line that family walks, right? I mean, nobody has a lot of sympathy for them because this is one of those they did it to themselves situations. But they have to agree with him. They have to behave as if he's right. But honestly, the children know, they know that he is just barking up the wrong tree. This is doomed for failure. The power is coming to an end. And they're walking this very, very fine line with him. And so they really find themselves in a position where um, they can't control him. He's been uncontrollable for a long time, but at the next 2 weeks really, really look like there's going to be some spinning out of control. And there's Joe Biden's card. So again, that just reinforces the idea of news coming out. And, a lot of people are going to be continuing to say, oh, thank God, he's sane, he's stable, he's going to correct course. And of course, every time that happens, Trump absolutely roars because he views it as a slap in the face. He views it as a put down. Well, you know what? It is. So good on him that he's actually seeing one little teeny tiny thing through the lenses of reality. Yeah, so he is, so nobody is even pretending that he is behaving like a president. Okay, nobody's pretending that because he's absolutely not. His sights are across the water. They're in a different place. They are not in the here and now, and they certainly are not in the presidency or in Washington. He emotionally has, there's a lot of conversation about, well, I don't think that Trump's, kind of that detached from reality. I think he's cunning like a fox. Well, you know what? He's both. And he can be both, and he is both. The cunning is such a part of the way he functions, the way his brain thinks. And so that in that sort of slippery reality that he dances around in, he has always felt that is his strength, right? He is of the opinion that if he doesn't like something, he simply doesn't acknowledge it exists. And you know what? For those of us who practice manifestation, it's a very similar thing. The problem is over time, Trump has gotten so dark, and the things he is manifesting are just blatantly evil and cruel. But he has, sort of some of those elements in place, and he has spent his whole life ignoring or spinning whatever didn't look good for him, whatever he didn't like. And it just feels as if in his head, there's some real volatility going on there. He is working very hard at figuring out how to kind of escape. And I'm not sure right yet if it's escape the United States, escape the presidency, escape his legal problems. I don't know. He's got a lot of things, frankly, to escape from. Don't be at all surprised to hear about more and more pardons. His children are all going to get pardoned, I'm convinced. And some key people around him, like that Alan Weisselberg, he's going to be pardoned, I'm sure. There's going to be people around him who he's going to try to protect by pardoning them. But make no mistake, he's not really protecting them as much as he believes that he is protecting himself. And what the foolish man doesn't understand, that when you are pardoned, you give up your right to your Fifth Amendment. And so all these people can be forced to testify. And they can't hide behind their Fifth Amendment right because they were pardoned from the crimes that, I guess, were committed, but only federal crimes. And it's the state, the states that are going to get to him. It is not federal legal woes that are going to bring him down. For a long time, almost 2 years, I've been saying death by 1,000 cuts, death by 1,000 cuts. It's going to be the lawsuits. It's going to be the investigations. It's going to be bad news coming because finally he is not going to be able to gag everybody, and more information is coming out. And so that's kind of the energy that he is trying to push back against. But you know what? This is like a snowball that has just picked up so much momentum, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. This thing is uncontrollable. And frankly, if he tries to stand in front of that snowball, which is now massive, and stop it, he's just going to get rolled right over, flattened, and he's going to be incorporated into that snowball as it continues gaining momentum downhill to, I think, maybe a future that he really, really doesn't like. This is the thing, okay? This is the reality about Trump. Everything in his world is about money. It is about possessions. It is about image. It is about how he looks, how he's perceived, all of that stuff that in the final analysis isn't as important as your heart, your soul, your higher intentions. And so what has happened is he has really, really positioned himself in a very dark and very heavy place, because he will not, and he chooses this, make no mistake, he will not let go of that which he believes gives him power. He will not let go of that which he has convinced himself is his identity and what he is loved for and what he is respected for. And boy, the problem is that all those things that he really, really wants to hang on to are exactly the things that he is absolutely in jeopardy of losing. And he doesn't have a defense. He's going to be, this stuff is going to come at him one after another after another. And I just don't see how he is going to be able to escape it. And this is the thing, even if by some chance he actually manages to get out of the country and stay gone, okay, the indictments will continue to roll, right? The indictments will continue to roll in. And so even though he may not be able to be, held responsible in a court of law legally, all the information is going to be released as the indictments come out. So everything he's been trying to keep a secret is not going to be a secret for very, very much longer. And this is the thing, it really feels like Eric and Don Jr. are going to really, really be the ones on the receiving end of his wrath, of his sort of unhinged behavior. They are the ones who are really, really going to be shredded, just shredded by Trump's behavior and by the fantasies that he is weaving and the pardons that he is going to grant them, which very well may not protect, well, in fact, they're not going to protect them at all if there's any federal crimes that anybody comes after them for. And I don't know, but like, it's not the emoluments clause, but because that would only apply to Trump, but the fact that, the inauguration, that investigation going into where that money went, they're all part of that, and that is federal. So again, they may not end up paying a price per se for that, but they don't have a Fifth Amendment right anymore. And then honestly, it's the stuff coming down the pike from the states. New York is going to be the biggest bane of Donald Trump's existence from now until he shuffles off his mortal coil and leaves the planet. And unfortunately, I don't think where he's going is a very light or bright space. But again, it feels as if the boys are going, it's like I can see the two boys, men, standing there. Although, they really are boys because they don't actually display a lot of adult-like behavior. I think that's why I keep using that children term, even though these people are all adults. There's a juvenileness to them. There's a me attitude to them But I can see the two of them standing, and he's standing in front of them, and he is roaring like a lion. And there's literally flames shooting out of his mouth, and the boys are getting singed, but they're trapped. They're absolutely trapped. They cannot move away. They can't really protect themselves. And I think that one of them may very well end up being that sacrificial lamb who takes the fall, while they try to sort of cover up at least some of the goings on in terms of the Trump organization. Melania is absolutely waiting with bated breath. Okay, she's you may hear some stuff that makes it sound like, no, she's going to carry on and try to be a traditional, first lady who has left office. Trust me, her whole thing is how fast can I escape and how easily can I do it? And that is everything to her. That is all she wants. That is all she cares about. She very strongly feels, that he's going down. She knows a lot of stuff, and Trump is ultimately going to be desperate that she doesn't divorce him, because if she does, that whole thing about you don't have to testify against a spouse. Yeah. Well, if she's no longer a spouse, I guess she can't hide behind that. So it feels like, in top of everything else, she's going to be trying to run out the door, and he's going to be pulling her back saying, no, 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 you have to stay married to me. Again, does he love her? No. Does he really care about her future? No. But he sure as heck wants to keep her under the label so that she doesn't have to testify against him going forward. But listen. Yuppers, look at this. Justice, temperance, the Hierophant. This is what's coming. This is what's coming for Trump. Justice is coming. A balancing is coming. Righting wrongs, shifting that balance of power. And it's the courts that are coming after him. And and he's also going to lose the support of some influential business people. They are going to pull back because they at least realize and recognize that if they have to choose between Trump and themselves, they're choosing themselves. Make no mistake about it. He is going to be like that anchor around people's feet that are just dragging them down. And there's going to be people maybe that you wouldn't even suspect would, cutting ties with him. Stuff coming to light, more and more revelation. So you know what? This is fascinating, because it really does look like the holiday season is going to be a very stressful, volatile, angry time as he continues to try to stay in this protective mode. And, that's not going to be an easy thing for him to do, because his power is waning. He just doesn't have, they call it a lame duck period or lame duck president for a reason. Now, the one thing I didn't get and I didn't pick up on clearly is whether I'm sure he's not going to be at the White House for the inauguration. I'm positive of that. I'm just not positive yet if he is going to hand over things to Pence so that Pence can do the pardoning, or if he's just so full of himself that he's just going to decide he can pardon himself and nobody can stop him. So I guess maybe as we move towards the end of December into January, I might get a better read on that. But for right now, honestly, I'm glad I'm not invited to their family dinner. I can tell you that much. Okay, So, you know what? We're in the lead up. This is the last weekend before Christmas. Enjoy it. You know, just push all the insanity aside and do whatever it is you do so that you too can still believe. So I will see you for the next 2 weeks, just not as often. Private readings, I'm booking February. I will see you soon. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye.